Alright. Okay, I get it. I get it. Do you know, I get it more now with this song than I did with Rich Men North of Richmond. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited because last week I reacted to an OIiver Anthony song called Rich Men North of Richmond, and what I said in reaction to that song was I didn't notice anything particularly good in the guitar playing, the composition of the song, the singing and stuff, but I found the message to be really, really cool. Now, as a result of that, a bunch of people were pretty angry in the comments, really, and gave me a hard time about not knowing some of the context behind that song. But remember, this is a blind reaction, right? I'm coming to it absolutely blind, and so I'm just interpreting the lyrics according to my own understanding of the world. But a lot of people said, look, this guy is really good. And so, especially as a mental health expert, go and react to the song, I Want to Go Home. And so that is what today's reaction is going to be. I hope you enjoy it.
Well, if it weren't for my old dogs and the good Lord, they'd have me strung up in the psych ward. 'Cause every day living in this new world is one too many days to me. Son, we're on the brink of the next world war, and I don't think nobody's praying no more. And I ain't saying I know it for sure. I'm just down on my knees begging the Lord to take me home. I wanna go home. I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to wake up feeling this way, cussing myself every damn day. There's always some kind of bill to pay. People just doing what the rich man say. I wanna go home. Generations farming the ground, grandson sells it to a man out of town, and 2 weeks later the trees go down. Only got concrete growing around. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to wake up feeling this way, cussing myself every damn day.
Alright. Okay, I get it. I get it. Do you know, I get it more now with this song than I did with Rich Men North of Richmond. It felt as though Rich Men North of Richmond, there was an anger there, you know. There was an anger at the way the world is, and how decision makers at governmental level are making decisions that aren't benefiting everyday people, like this man OIiver Anthony. But there was an anger there. This doesn't feel that way, does it? It feels more intense emotionally. It feels sadder. I can feel this more. I can feel this more. This song. Obviously, this is the second time I've heard him now, and so whereas the first time I'm trying to pick up on the lyrics as much as possible, as in when I watched Rich Men North of Richmond, this time I'm trying to watch him. And I think I said this in the last video, by the way, but maybe people didn't really hear it. Like I said, I believe him, and what I meant by that was he sings with such emotion and such authenticity and realness that even not knowing anything about him, I believe him. I don't think he's written these words down on a page from nowhere. I think he's written these words down because he's living this life right now. Well, maybe not right now, but when he wrote the lyrics. Now that speaks to how emotive he is when he sings. He's got a great voice and he plays the guitar. Well, it's sort of like exactly what I said before, but there's something about this song that is making me feel the sadness more. I like how he said, if it wasn't for my dogs and it wasn't for the church, that he'd be in a psych ward. It's funny that if you look at the research on dogs, they can do such wonderful things for our mental health. They provide that unconditional love and support no matter who we are. I'm a big dog lover myself, and the church equally. There's data out there showing that being a part of a church can have positive impacts upon mental health and well-being, so I get that he's using those things as crutches. I think some of the other things that I've heard him say and sort of like pick up in the lyrics here is the idea of being sort of lost and tentative with the conclusions that he's coming to about the world. He said, I was like, I might be wrong, right, or I might be wrong. He said something like that. But he just knows something's not right, because he's never woken up with these feelings before. And I think that he's probably right to be placing blame on the way that the world is at the moment. Right, I'll carry on watching.
People have really gone and lost their way. They all just do what the TV say. I wanna go home.
Alright, let's talk about that. What does he mean by I want to go home? Leave comments for me, let me know, because obviously you all know this fella a lot better than I do. I've literally listened to 2 songs of his and read some comments. I know that sort of like he's pretty uninterested in, I guess, fame and money, but he's also passionate enough about societal change to be singing these songs and putting himself out there like this. I know that he loves dogs and he sort of lives off grids. He's, not your typical sort of person and whatnot. When he says, I want to go home, what does he mean? 2 things jump to my mind. One is, I want to go home, meaning I want to go back to the way things were in the past. Maybe a simpler life, maybe a life where people weren't struggling to pay the bills or having to work long hours in order to pay the bills. Maybe that's what he means. I want to go home, I want to go back to the way that it was. Maybe if there's a religious angle here, maybe what he means is I want to go home to heaven, to be with his maker. Now, if it's that, then that's super sad, right? That makes this song super sad, because what he's saying is I've had enough. I've had enough of the struggle. I've had enough of decision makers and more wealthy people taking the piss out of everyday people like him and the people he sees around him. And so, do you know what? I'm just going to cash out now and leave this world. I hope that's not what he means by this. I could be wrong with both of those things. Let me know what he means by I want to go home in the comments.
If it weren't for my old dogs and the good Lord, they'd have me strung up in the psych ward.
I'm going to go back, if you don't mind. This is the first time I've done this in a reaction. I'm going to go back, I just want to catch some of the words, okay?
They'd have me strung up in the psych ward. 'cause every day living in this new world is one too many days to me. Son, we're on the brink of the next world war, and I don't think nobody's praying no more, and I ain't.
The sadness there, right? You can see sort of like us heading in a direction as a world that is gonna result in lots of bloodshed and pain. And he's saying, I don't think people are praying no more. I think that's about right. You know, I think that we live in the UK especially, we live in a less religious society, and I don't know, it does feel, and I say this tentatively, it does feel that as religion has played a smaller part in British society, I'm not sure what's going on in the States, that I don't know, there's been changes in the way that people treat each other, which I don't like. I'm not saying those two things are causal, but there's definitely something there.
Saying I know it for sure, I'm just down on my knees begging.
I'm not saying I know it for sure, I'm just down on my knees. So he's like, it's almost like he's trying to make sense of what's going on. Like, why am I feeling this way? Why is the world heading in this direction? And he's open to being wrong, it looks like.
Lord, take me home. I wanna go home.
I want to go home. What does he mean? I want to go home. It must be, given the Bible verse at the end, it must be that. I hope it doesn't mean that.
I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to hate.
I don't know which road to go. It's more of that tentativeness, more of that sort of like, I don't know how to fix this. You know, I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what to do to fix this. There's that feeling of helplessness that, you know, is pushing him to feel this way and pushing him to sing words like I want to go home, which I really hope don't mean what I think it means.
I'm feeling this way, cussing myself every damn day. There's always some.
I wonder what that's about. What's he cursing himself for? Like, he seems to have like this really crisp understanding of the role that wider context can have on mental health. Yeah, so like decision makers, rich folk make decisions sometimes that don't benefit everyday people. So like, why would he be cursing himself? All he's doing is singing about things that you know, he's trying to instigate here positive change. Why is he cursing himself? I wonder what the answer to that is. Answer that in the comments. Why would he be cursing himself?
Later, trees go down on.
Just one other thing to say is, there's something special about the simplicity of this. There's a guy with his dogs in the woods playing his guitar and singing. There's something about the simplicity of this which I think makes it special. But again, I think, as with Rich Men North of Richmond, the reason why this guy is taking off is because he's speaking truths, right? It's because of the message of his lyrics. And don't get me wrong, he's a great singer. He's playing guitar well and stuff. But there's, you know, this is a political renegade, this fella. You know, he's building a following of people that are dissatisfied with the way the world is being run and want to do something about it. I'm going to have to watch some interviews with him to see, you know, how he speaks in interviews and whether he could go on to really be a somebody in the world that helps out the everyday person. Oh man. All right, well, mental health wise, you can see sort of like, you can feel the sadness. You can see where the sadness is coming from, and what I like about it is it's not sort of like, it's not doing what a lot of people do, which is saying, hey, I'm sad because there's something wrong with me. No, he's saying, no, I'm sad because of all these things that are going on in the world. So he's not like interacting with himself as if he's like deficient or abnormal in any way, even if he's engaging in self-criticism. But it does go to show how what goes on inside our heads and inside our hearts is so heavily influenced by what's going on around us. I think that very, very quickly psychology is moving to a place whereby it views mental health issues as a problem of context. And do you know why that's important? It's important because if context is causing the mental health problems, then the context has got to change in order to change the mental health problems. Like, pills, like antidepressants, and even alcohol and all those things, they all are meant to make us feel a little bit better at an individual level. But the bottom line is that the wider world is what's causing us to feel this way. And really, in order to feel any long-term improvement in how we're feeling and stuff, then the world's got to change. And so psychology becomes political really, really quickly. Alright, well, if you've watched this then this far, then thanks for watching. Thanks for pointing me in the direction of this fella. It'll be really interesting to see what he goes on to achieve. Take care. Bye bye.